Hello, Daka.
Hello, Sonny.
Hello, Tyrion Lannister.
Welcome, Tyrion Lannister.
Are you ready? This episode was, well, good. I loved it.
Well, you know what?
What the fuck's this
The
picture?
episode. That is beautiful.
Wow. Alright.
Oh my god.
As you were saying, this episode...
It was a good episode. I really did enjoy it. A lot of things happened, and majority of these things piqued my interest quite a lot. I was quite upset by the fact that there were two major characters being slain, and we didn't get to see them die, which was quite sad. I mean, one of them was with Arya Stark, and I kind of understand that.
Yeah.
But the first one, which I'll mention now, which we'll get into later on, with Blackfish, I would have actually liked to see him stand there and fight and try to defend himself rather than them just skipping that, since he's such an important character and they only recently introduced him and to kill him off this fast and in such a manner where you don't even see him pass away. I thought that was pretty poor by the production team.
Yes.
But apart from that, the episode was well done.
Yeah, it was lots of setting up again. There's lots of amazing stuff gonna go down, and indeed, I'm fully agreeing with you on that one, man. It's so unfortunate to see the Blackfish go out in the way he did, man. But then again, I don't know whether he actually died. Like, I'm hoping that he will return in some sort of like epic fight off against Jamie, but I don't think it's gonna happen. To be fair,
I mean, the god mentioned to Jamie that he is dead. Why would the god line up? If it was something like, if it was afraid, like a Frey god, then maybe that could have been the case. Maybe the phrase lied to Jamie and took Blackfish back to the tower. I'm assuming, yeah, he is dead.
Unfortunate, but that is the case. All right, so we'll go over the scenes real quick. What happened in this episode, which is scene 1. Play with the actress. Oh yeah, so it starts off with a play, right?
Yeah.
She took advice from Arya and implemented Cersei's hate bit as well, which was pretty cool. Because when she first met the actress, she said she was talking about how Cersei actually would have reacted on Joffrey dying. Because of course Arya knew Cersei, so that was rather interesting seeing that happen. And she actually took her advice and did that, and the crowd was pretty happy with that. So that was really cool. So she proceeded going backstage, and there she found Arya bleeding out, and she was being nursed back to full health.
Right. I would like to mention the interesting part about this scene, especially with the actress part when it was being role played out. Later on during the episode, Jaime Lannister does mention to the nephew of Blackfish that, you know, a mother's love for their child is incredible and they'll do anything to protect them. And you kind of saw that through the play when the actress was going, you know, you could see the anger within her, and obviously Cersei especially during the Purple Wedding, which was pretty cool in my opinion. As well as that, it was kind of cool to see almost like a motherly figure looking after Arya. Obviously, you know, she lost her mother early on, and she's been without anyone for a really long while. She's been by herself. Well, obviously she's been with a hound, but I wouldn't really count that as a guardian. So it was nice to see her being looked after. It almost gives her that feel as if, you know, she has a mother.
Yeah, and the resemblance of the actress, and then the leaning over Arya, and then seeing, like, you nearly saw Catherine Stark in there. That was wow, that was
definitely.
That was beautiful. So there was not a whole lot going on in that scene besides that. Just the play and yeah, she's being nursed back to full health, which was really nice. But the next scene, though, that was pretty amazing.
That was amazing. Yes.
Wow, the Hound is back, and he is on a path of vengeance. It was pretty amazing to see that, because he's just out there roaming the woods, and then he sees these 4 Brotherhood without Bannerman, and absolutely slaughters them.
It was quite tragic. I mean, wow.
Now, I do have a quick note on this. I learned from that scene how to kiss a woman.
Did Definitely.
That was so funny. Dude, that was so funny. That was
great.
That was great. Just slip your middle finger up her ass crack.
And I love the fact that after he does it to the guy, he goes and smokes his finger, and he's like, "It still smells like pussy to me." That's disgusting.
That is disgusting, but it is so good at the same time. I freaking love it. I freaking love it. So, in that scene, we saw a lot of gore, but in fairness, still not a lot of stuff going on there. It was just setting up for events later, which is pretty cool, because the Hound is gonna play a significant part in the upcoming events. I still believe. Like, it's a shame that later down this episode we saw a game ball flying out of the window. So that was really sad. That was really sad. Like, seeing the entire thing go away. Dude, the freaking Skyrim theme is blasting now. I just the Skyrim remastered coming soon though.
Oh my god, E3 hype.
E3 hype. So yeah, in that scene there was not a whole lot going on. Yes, and we learned something every episode. It's very true. It's very interesting stuff going down in every episode so far. This is a really good season so far. So then we move over to the next scene where Varys leaves Marine, where it's a pretty emotional scene where Varys where the team breaks up. It's pretty sad. So he goes on a secret mission. Now I don't know. I'm gonna be like totally honest. I don't know if I missed something this season. I don't know where he's going. I have no idea. I have no idea what he's up to.
He mentioned, I believe he's going to get boats. I think that's what he mentioned I think that's what he said, if I remember correctly. He's gone to get boats. But it was really a tragic scene because Tyrion doesn't have a lot of friends.
He has none anymore.
Exactly, and now he's by himself in this foreign land. So, think about Tyrion now, I honestly do feel sorry for that guy. So yeah, it was quite emotional when Varys left. Hopefully he is able to do something, and hopefully he does come back safely. And hopefully nothing bad happens to Tyrion now that his only friend has gone.
Yeah.
And obviously he's not really 100% with Grey Worm, since he kind of, as we see later on, fucked up.
Yeah, it's very true. Very true. So it's a sad scene, and I really now I do remember indeed that Varys was talking about going over to Westeros to get some allies, which should be pretty interesting, to be fair. I want to know what he's up to. I don't know if he's actually going to the Ironborn. Of course, that is the only place he could pretend. It's like the Ironborn is like the unstable thing in entire Westeros. They don't really pledge alliance to anyone. They obviously don't pledge alliance to the Lannisters because they've been raiding Lannisport for centuries now.
Yeah.
So they're basically the wild card and the only guys that could actually potentially help out Daenerys getting to the other side of the world. So that could be the case. I hope.
I mean, it'll be amazing if during his journey he meets Theon Greyjoy and the rest, and that'll be a great way for him to introduce them to the Khaleesi, and that'll be obviously an easy way for her to, I guess, create a pact with them to use their ship to go to Westeros. That'd be quite interesting, rather than him going all the way back, using Peter Baelish's bullet train to go to Westeros. That wouldn't really work out well.
A bullet train hype though.
That bullet train
flying all over the place. Yeah. It's fantastic. It's fantastic. So after that, we have the next scene where Cersei is being summoned by the Faith, and Cersei is having none of that, and she summons the Mountain, and that guy got destroyed.
Absolutely, he got fucked. What I love about this scene is the fact that you can see Cersei. She hasn't given up, even though obviously Jaime has now left and her son is not by her side, and she's left by herself isolated. She's still standing strong. She's still fighting for what she believes in, and she has that mountain by her side to reassure her. And I just love the fact that she used the mountain, and that guy got destroyed. His head was taken out from his body. Spine still attached. It was beautiful. I just love the mountain.
Oh my god! But the thing is, right? Because we're all like, we all saw that scene, And we were all like, dude, that was freaking amazing the way he slaughtered that Faith militant or that Faith member.
Yeah.
But what are the consequences, do you think? Because she killed someone of the Faith inside the Red Keep there. What would be the consequences?
Well, we saw one of the we see one of the consequences later, which is, I'll mention that now, which is the fact that there is no trial by combat, which changes a lot of things now. Which means obviously Cersei can no longer use the mountain against the Faith in that way. So that could have been one of the things that they did to take back at to get back at Cersei. And obviously another thing will be the fact that she wasn't even able to stand by her son while he was talking. So that's another limitation that they did with a restriction.
Mhm.
So as well, I mean, when she has to answer for her crimes, obviously they're gonna bring this up, and that's gonna put her in a more difficult situation. But now later on, we see obviously Jaime Lannister takes over the castle. So would he be able to get back in time with his, was it 8,000 men? Since he lost no one, so he's still 8,000 strong. And if anything bad happens to Cersei, we should see later on as well. Jaime Lannister said that he'll destroy anyone who goes in his way, for Cersei's love. So if anything bad happens to Cersei in that remark, then I guarantee that Jaime Lannister will fight the Faith with those 8,000 men.
Exactly. Hello, Prone. How are you doing, man? No electricity. That is a sad thing. Yes. So let's move over to the next scene because disobeying the faith. Yeah, go ahead.
Before we move on, I want to say something interesting. When the Mountain was fighting the religious crew, he was actually attacked by a weapon, and the weapon seemed to penetrate his armor.
Yeah.
Which is quite cool, but I'm not sure if it also penetrated his skin, because the Mountain didn't even give a reaction of. There was no blood at all. Even if you look closely to the weapon, there was no blood. It was unstained. So is it like, is the Mountain a zombie, does not have any blood, or did that weapon not penetrate the guy?
That's interesting. Yeah, that's my first thought. Like, I was like looking very closely at what was going on in that particular scene, and you saw the weapon. The weapon is pretty long, so it went through the armor and into the body of the Mountain, which was and he didn't even flinch. Like, he didn't give a rat's ass about it. And he might get a little bit angry and then just ripped out his skull and his fucking spine attached to his skull. Wow, definitely. That's Mortal Kombat over for that.
Mortal Kombat.
Fatality. So yeah, that was neat. That's a very good point. Like, he doesn't. Yeah. It looks like he doesn't feel anything. Like, he doesn't even feel pain. But he is like he is undead. So that's definitely the case. So Tyrion Lannister brings up something in the chat. Will Cersei blow up all of King's Landing or just the Sept of Baelor? We'll get into that a little bit later, because that's being brought up in the scene a little bit later down the line, and I want to talk about it a little bit later, if you don't mind. So let's move over to the next scene. Is there anything else you want to add?
Oh no, that's it. That just sums up that scene, yeah.
So the next scene is the big scene where Brienne and Jaime are reunited. Really emotional scene, to be fair. Again, like the chemistry between those two is very special in my opinion. Like, it's such a beautiful thing. And then Bronn and Podrick meet again as well.
That was beautiful.
That was so good. I love this. Dude, there was something about this entire episode. There was a comedic thing to this entire episode. There was so much fun stuff happening, yet so much sad stuff as well, of course. But, so yes, there was the interesting scene with Brienne asking to let the Tullys pass to go north to aid Sansa in her coming battles. Just giving them a free pass, going all the way north. Jaime agrees to this, which is a very strange thing in my opinion, since it is like Jaime is disobeying the king's orders there. They're letting these guys they're letting these guys free, which just took a castle of the Freys, which are like in alliance with the crown. So that's just giving them a free pass going north. That's a strange thing. You're lagging a little bit.
Still lagging?
Yeah, you're still lagging? Could you... Alright, cool. So yeah, in my opinion, that's a weird thing, because Jamie shouldn't be allowed to do that, of course, or at least he isn't allowed to even do that. He's supposed to kill all the Tullys, yet he doesn't. So,
He just like,
hello? Should we move? Let's move over to Icy's Discord real quick. Let's see if we can move over there. Oh shit, we can't really. Maybe the YouTube gaming one. Let's do the YouTube gaming one. Go over to room. Yeah. Hello?
hello.
That's way better.
Okay, cool. What I was about to say is it's quite interesting because the way I see it is Brienne is able to bring the I want to say honorable side of Jaime Lannister, and I think Jaime kind of sees that that whenever he's with Brienne, he's able to go to his more, I want to say, touchy side. So he isn't as merciless as he is, which is beautiful. And I just love, like you mentioned, the chemistry between these characters, and hopefully it does develop into something. Later on, we do see when if the plan didn't work out with Brienne, and he went back to Jaime Lannister to tell him, no, she mentioned, what if this plan doesn't work out? And Jaime Lannister said, hopefully it doesn't come to that. And that was pretty good, since he didn't say, I would have to slay you, I would have to kill you in any way. He just mentioned the fact that hopefully it doesn't come to that way.
Yeah. Exactly. We also saw later in that episode, or later in that scene, that let's see, is that even that scene? Let me double check real quick. Yeah, so Brienne walks up to into the castle and asking for the Blackfish to help, but he obviously doesn't want to help. Now, there's an interesting little moment where the Blackfish does consider helping them out, which was really like another strong little moment. Like he saw the letter, and that reminded him of his cousin Catherine Stark, which was pretty a nice little moment. Still, the Blackfish really didn't want to help. He didn't want to give up his ancestral home. He didn't want to do that. So that's the reason. That's the reason why they move forward without going north, unfortunately.
I totally understand his perspective, though. Think about it. He barely escaped from the Red Wedding. Now here he is back in his own castle, being threatened to get kicked out from his own castle where he was born in, raised in, and he's been asked to fight in another war all the way in the north, and he is currently about to fight the Fraser Lannisters. And so I totally understand where he's coming from, and if I was him, I wouldn't have left. I would have actually stayed and fought. And obviously he does say, without respect, I'm here, I need to fight from our own castle rather than going to help Sansa, which I find is perfectly reasonable.
Yeah, there's no better reason to not go to war, because it's his castle. There is no... If the moment he moves out, he's gonna lose the castle. That's the main thing. That's like his struggle there. Like he kind of wants to help out his cousin, of course. There's no reason why he shouldn't help out his cousin. But doing that, leaving his home and losing that, is something he really doesn't want to do. So, we move over to the next scene, where Tommen has a royal announcement, which pretty much fucks over Cersei 100%. Trial by combats are now forbidden. That's the basic outline of it. They're setting a date for Cersei's trial, and trials by combat are now forbidden. Now, two things about this. Like, this is the end of Cersei. It seems like it's the end. The Faith has won there. Now, the other thing is, which is quite sad, is that Clegane Bowl is like 100% out of the window. Like, we won't see the Hound battling it out versus the Mountain. And God, what an amazing battle that will be.
Well, firstly, let's start with what Cersei's going to now do. Obviously, trial by combat is no longer an option, so she cannot use the Mountain to her advantage. She's left alone, and she literally is trapped in a corner. So she's gonna have to resolve to something else, something more brutal, because there's no way she is going to talk about her sins and give up her will to the Ty Sparrow and accept defeat. And I guess with the little birdies, I believe that's what they were called. I'm assuming, like you mentioned before, the in another stream, I believe it was our stream before this, um, with the what was the explosive called again?
Wildfire.
Wildfire. I have a feeling the little birds found wildfire as the Mad King scattered out across King's Landing. So I have a feeling they found wildfire, and worse comes to worse, I have a feeling she's going to go ahead and use that
Yeah.
in a way to obviously fight back, which will be a really brutal method. And maybe that could be when Jimmy Lannister realizes Cersei, no, there is no longer love for Cersei after she does such a thing like this. When Jimmy Lannister tried to stop an event like this from happening, wildfire from being used, and then Cersei goes uses it. That could be a way for finally for Cersei's and Jaime Lannister's bond to finally end, which would obviously now mean Brienne and Jaime Lannister come together.
Yeah. Yeah, that could totally make sense, to be fair. Cersei is losing her shit, of course, because she lost all power. Like, we saw that in this entire season happening. She has no power anymore over King's Landing. She doesn't have power over Tommen anymore. The Faith they simply won the entire battle. Now she's going batshit crazy over that, of course, and resulting to wildfire, which the little birdies found, might be the thing that's going down very soon. And I indeed believe, I'm a firm believer of that. We saw it in the flashbacks. We saw the stashes of wildfire, if that is the case, like, because we saw it being made or being poured into canisters, but I believe that's the case. I believe that's what's going down. They found wildfire, and they're gonna use it. So, yeah.
What I would like to mention is when we look going a few episodes back now, we saw flashbacks of wildfire, like you mentioned, and dragons flying over King's Landing. So it could be the case that now, since everything is closing up, we're gonna have the Khaleesi marching onto Westeros, and when she marches onto Westeros, wildfire will then be used. So it's almost as if everything is gonna be really chaotic in one go, and it's just gonna be a massive chaotic clusterfuck with Firewire being used, obviously the dragons invading, maybe even the White Walkers invading the north, the wall, while the Winterfell war's going on.
Yeah. Well, like, another really interesting thing is, if we go way further back, I don't know if you remember this, but I think it was in season 2 or season 3. Daenerys got locked up in the tower with the magician. And there she had quite a series of flashbacks.
Yeah.
One of those flashbacks was where she walked into the throne room, and the entire place, entire King's Landing, the throne room, was all burned down.
Yeah.
So could this be that this entire thing is wrapping up, that Cersei has found wildfire, she's going batshit crazy and decides to go all Mad King on everyone and burns down everything, and as soon as our beloved Khaleesi lands in King's Landing, she sees the entire place being torn down to the ground.
Yeah. I wouldn't be surprised, especially with Cersei doing something like this. I mean, think about it. Cersei, she has literally lost everything. Jaime Lannister is gone away. Joffrey passed away. Tommen has now been taken away from her. She no longer has she no longer has Tommen. Tommen is gone. She's by herself with a monster, an undead monster. So it's like, what other option does she have? If she cannot get her child back, she might as well just burn every single person in the city.
Precisely. I think what's going to push her over the edge in the end, is maybe Tommen even dying. I think that might be the moment, if Tommen were to die, that she goes absolutely crazy and decides to burn everything.
I wouldn't see who would kill Tommen though. For what purpose?
I don't know. I don't know at this point who and why anyone would kill Tommen, because he is, in the end, like, he's a good ruler. Like, well, he's a good king. Let's put it that way. He's a kind king. That's how I need to put it. He's not a good king.
Exactly.
He's a kind king. So he's beloved by entire King's Landing. Of course, the Faith is 100% controlling him, because he doesn't have his own opinion anymore. So, yeah, I think that's what's going down. Tyrion, when Daenerys destroys King's Landing, she will realize the throne is not worth it. Ash's throne room vision and goes north to fight the White Walkers with Jon. That could
that makes sense.
That makes that was like that's my entire reason. Like I interpreted that scene in two ways. Basically exactly what you're seeing now. The other way was because there was two things happening in that scene. I didn't know whether it was ashes, like it could be ashes coming from the sky, or it could be snow coming down. So when I first saw that scene and knowing what was going down in the books during that time, is I thought that the White Walkers might have overran entire Westeros and nothing is left. So that is why it's snowing as well, but it might be ash. So I don't know whether it's ashes. I need to look at that scene again, to be fair, but it's really hard to make out. It looked really cold, but we saw like a series of visions. Indeed, the first vision in that segment was her walking into King's Landing, seeing it just destroyed. The second one was her like walking through the wall, like through the gates of the wall. So we're just saying right now makes the most sense, Tyrion, that she will go north of the wall after she's been to King's Landing and after she sees it's all being burned to the ground.
Yeah.
So, moving on is scene 7. Lots of funny jokes are being told in Marine. The Masters are back and they're retaking Marine. Now, those jokes were fucking awesome.
Those jokes were awful, number one. Number two, it's just funny to see the situation that Tyrion is with these two, let's just call them foreigners in Tyrion's perspective. The fact that he's always trying to communicate with them and make these jokes and it's not working out. But I just love the way Grey Worm came up with his joke. That was beautiful.
Mad jokes being cracked in Marine.
The banter is real.
But yeah, then that comedic session got interrupted by the Masters.
How rude!
How rude! It was such a good stand-up comedy there, but it got interrupted by a handful of ships. Quite a few handfuls of ships, to be fair, ready to pound Marine. So that was basically.
Obviously.
Yeah.
Yeah. Go on. Continue.
No. That was all that was going down in that scene, if I recall correctly.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, that's literally the entire scene. But obviously, this now gives. Later on, we come back to this scene, and we see the one and only Khaleesi coming back with a dragon. So this could easily be a way for Khaleesi to get more bows if they're able to harvest the bows rather than destroying them. If there's a way, I have a feeling that's not gonna happen since the dragon will go loose. I'm hoping that the other two dragons do get released, so they could go ahead and wreak havoc as well. Now these two dragons, obviously, they've been in captive, so God knows what they'll do. They could even go ahead and start burning Marine. Who knows if they're still respecting the Khaleesi? We don't know if she has control of these two dragons, so it will be quite interesting if they're able to escape due to the events going on here. But hopefully, imagine if the Ironborns are able to reach Marine while this is all going on. They'll be flanking them. It'll be an easy way for the Ironborn for them to help the Khaleesi and be like, look here, we are here for you. We need your help, and we're gonna help you by giving not only our own boats, but these boats that we have captured, helping you with this fight. And that we need way, obviously, the Khaleesi then to go to Westeros and all these events unfold.
I think it's maybe it potentially be gearing up for a tragic death of one of the dragons even.
That would be quite upsetting to see a dragon die before. The thing is, what I'm not liking in Game of Thrones is we see nothing with the dragons. We've seen one big dragon that's been obviously a friendly dragon. He's been respecting Khaleesi. The other two dragons, they have been doing nothing. They've been locked up in a room, and we haven't really seen much of other dragons for a really long while. Obviously, we see the main dragon burn a few things once every few episodes, and apart from that, we see nothing interesting, something really amazing with the dragons yet. And it'll be quite disappointing if they were to kill one off already. Now, if a dragon if a dragon was to die when they invade Westeros or when they're fighting the White Walkers, that would be good. That'd be a good way for a dragon or two to die. Yeah. But if they kill one off here, nah, that wouldn't be. I'm not really digging that.
No, that would be a sad and tragic thing. But yes, what you're saying is very correct, because it's all gearing up that the Ironborn will reach Marine at the same time as the siege is going on, so they'll be having this major flanking maneuver, whilst dragons are freaking flying all over the sky, setting everything on fire as well. So the Ironborn are just plundering more ships, and the dragons are burning the rest. So I think it's safe to assume this entire siege is not going to end well for the Masters. I think it's pretty safe to assume that.
Well, you never know. Those dragons might be on the rage, and they might even attack the Ironborn and destroy the Ironborn.
That'll
And
be
there we
funny as
go. The
fuck.
Khaleesi once again is left by herself in Marine with no way to go to Westeros, apart from obviously Peter Baelige's really expensive, high quality, national-wide bullet train.
Exactly. So Marine is indeed pretty much fucked there. But
Yeah.
however, in scene 8, we go back to Westeros and we see Edmure Tully and Jaime break words. Jaime threatens Edmure and Edmure breaks. He goes into Riverrun and demands that they open the gates and give it up. So it happens, the Blackfish dies, assumably. I don't know yet. I don't know. I'm not 100% like convinced that he is dead, but it's definitely like you said, a Lannister soldier actually told the the Blackfish has died. So like it could kind of work if one of the Freys told him that he died, but I don't know. I hope he's alive. So Brienne and Podrick do make it out, and there's this like beautiful end scene where Jaime sees Brienne and Podrick going off into the distance, and they both wave at each other. It's so #emotional.
It was honestly beautiful, and obviously once again you see the chemistry between these two characters. What I do want to say is, going back to Blackfish, is kind of disappointing. Like Game of Thrones, it almost feels as if they are rushing everything and they're trying to bring everything closer together. Blackfish, a new character introduced, and already he is dead. Going back to obviously later on we see Wave introduced. Obviously Wave has been here for quite a while, and then she dies off screen. Spoiler, obviously we'll see that later on. So I'm not really digging that, but I would like to say with Jaime breaking words with Edmure Tully, it is the exact same as the books. Jaime mentions that he will catapult his child to him, which is quite the threat. That is quite barbaric.
That's pretty hardcore.
He is not touching gloves there at all. So obviously I'm not surprised that Edmure Tully has now obviously given up, because come on, who wants their child to be catapulted? That's not really how you want to reunite with your child that you haven't seen since birth. Flying in arms towards you, bro.
Breaking the sound barrier into the wall of Riverrun. You don't want that. No, that's pretty sad. So that's pretty obvious that he breaks. And like you said, it's so sad to see the Blackfish was like earlier in this episode, or in this season actually, or in the Game of Thrones, like I think season 4 or 3 he was actually in, and it's so sad to see him die off screen. Like this guy should have had like an honorable death. He was he was a good character, and I'm really bummed out about it. Like they shouldn't be killing these characters off screen. Like none of them.
Definitely.
So I'm really hoping that for whatever reason, maybe the Lannister was a little bit blind and he mistook somebody else for the Blackfish, and then he just pops up in the freaking on the wall and he's there face to face with Jaime Lannister, ready to fight. But I don't think it's gonna happen, unfortunately, because it's a sad day. It's a sad day.
I mean, I love Game of Thrones and I love what they're doing with the series, but it just, for some reason, it feels like they're trying to rush everything, which that's the vibe that I'm getting for, and it's disappointing because Game of Thrones has always been quite slow, and obviously that's not really a good thing, especially with Daenerys' story. But everything else introducing, I mean, they're even skipping Lady Stoneheart's storyline just because it's a bit too late now to introduce her. So it's like, what is the production team thinking? It's like they're just, I don't know, I'm speechless.
It's really hard though, like to put all that information from the books into one series, because there's a lot of information in the books, like to put into a series. So this is quite hard, to be fair. Like I'm not gonna lie, it's really difficult, and I do believe they're doing a really good job with the series so far. However, you're fully right on the rushing bit. Like, this entire season has been rushed. They're killing off a lot of characters, like a lot of characters even from that appeared in season 1. And it's going very fast now. It's picking up the pace, so it is gearing up for the end very soon.
But if you rush a series and go to the end, there's no point. That ending isn't going to be as good as it's meant to be. If you have if they paced it, if it was a bit slower, if they paced it correctly, rather than trying to rush everything to show the audience what they really want, which is obviously all the action. If they were to introduce small fighting bits here and there, or small action pieces, it would just make everything more interesting. But the way it's going isn't to feel rushed, and as episodes go, it's gonna be even more rushed. And overall, it's just gonna, the way I see it, as far as I can tell, it's gonna be a bad ending for Game of Thrones. It's like the books are so great. If they mess up this TV show by rushing it towards the end, it's just gonna look bad.
Yeah. Yeah, well, you're right on that, to be fair. You're fully right on that. It's going a bit too fast for my liking, indeed. There's, especially, like I said before, this season. This season seems to fly by with everything that's happening. So, yeah. Alright, so we have, the next scene is the scene where, let's see, is there anything else we need to discuss in this scene? There's quite a lot. No, that's pretty
much it, yeah.
Yeah. Scene 9, we go back to Marine, across the narrow sea, and we see that it's getting pounded by the mastheads, bombarding the city, but then a large thing lands on the roof, and everybody's like, dude, what the fuck is this? And then you see it. The Khaleesi is back.
The Khaleesi. We pretty much summarized this scene with the other scene. She just arrives obviously with a dragon. I could actually see her dragon flying away in the distance. I'm quite surprised about that. I thought the dragon would say. I'm assuming he's gonna do like a U-turn and start burning the ships. I'm not sure why he was flying to a distance, but yeah.
Exactly. And the one thing that stood out for me, like, it was a pretty minor scene. We didn't see a whole lot. It opened up with seeing Tyrion walk up the stairs. The dragon lands on the roof, and then you see the Khaleesi walking in. But that look upon her face. That sheer disappointment. She knew, like, dude, you guys fucked up here. What the hell happened here? That was the kind of look she gave the guys in the room, and that was so. That was sad.
It was, yeah. You could definitely see disappointment, but I don't think she has the right to be angry at them. At the end of the day, she disappeared. Obviously, it wasn't really her fault, but it's still not fair to put the fault at these 3 people who are trying to take charge of the situation.
Exactly. So after that, we go back over to Westeros. We're bouncing back and forth quite a bit using that. I arrived before the end, unlike last week. Well, we're nearing the end. I'm not gonna lie. We're plowing through these scenes. So, scene 10. Which is the second to last scene, is where we see a character from the books named Lemoncloak, or just Lemoncloak actually. And
that's a beautiful name.
That is a beautiful name, yeah. And he is not in a good position because he's standing on a small little log with a rope around his neck, together with 2 of his fellow Brotherhood Without Banner men. So yeah, he's not in a good place. And of course the Hound walks into this party and he's like, dude, I want to have some of this. So yeah, now a thing about this entire scene is about that little segment is all the hanging is a small nod towards Lady Stoneheart. So that raises the question: is of course it's way too late for her to appear, but might she make a cameo or might she appear in some way? You think?
Lady Stoneheart? No way. She will not be introduced at all. No.
That's out of the window then? I don't believe it either, to be fair. Like, it is, I like it. I like the fact that they're actually giving these small nods towards Lady Stoneheart and towards more book stuff. Like, introducing Lemoncloak. He is a character, like, he's an actual, a decent character in the books. He has more stuff going on than what we actually saw here. But it's like, it's a fun thing to see him appear and unfortunately die so quickly. That is saddening, though.
I am happy that they're obviously referenced in the books by obviously using the hanging method, which is Lady Stoneheart's famous for. But at the same time, they're teasing us, but it's not gonna happen. It's way too late to introduce Lady Stoneheart, which is a whole nother chapter when they're trying to tie and close everything as fast as possible. It just wouldn't make sense to introduce something this big this late on.
Yeah, exactly.
It'll be a bad move.
Exactly. We're definitely, like, if we're looking at Game of Thrones right now, we're definitely 100% looking at 2 seasons max. Like, that is the tops of Game of Thrones, the extent
Yeah.
of Game of Thrones right now. Like, there's 2 more seasons, and then it's over and out. All is said and done. With the pace that's going on right now. It's not a bad thing. Like, I think at the end of this season, we're going to see Khaleesi stepping on the ships, heading over towards Westeros. I think, of course, we're going to see the conclusion of the Battle of Winterfell, which is, wow, that's going to be next episode, so it's going to be so good. So yes. So in that same particular scene, by the way, where we saw Lem being hung, we also have this like brief conversation with the Hound and Thoros of Myr, where they're basically asking the Hound to join the Brotherhood, which is pretty cool. Still, at the same time, I'm sad. Like, if that happens, if you were to join the Brotherhood, I think it's safe to assume that the entire Clegane Bowl thing is 100% out of the window. That's never.
Well, the Clegane Bowl was destroyed when Tommen decided not to have trial by combat anymore, because that was the big moment when the Hound was gonna fight the Mountain, but it was Tommen that kind of ruined that. But I mean, there's what else does now the Hound have in Game of Thrones? What else is he? What else can he do? I say join the Brotherhood is the only thing that guy has left
Exactly.
for himself. Yeah.
But once he goes on that path, there is like no reasonable way for the Hound to get to King's Landing, to get over to that point.
No.
There is no way. Like, if he were not to join the Brotherhood, and for whatever reason he pursued his journey of faith and joins the faith of the Seven, that would be a good reason for him to end up in King's Landing again, and Clegane Bowl could still happen. But as soon as he joins the Brotherhood without Benna, I don't see it happening, unless they somehow meet up on the roads. I don't know how, but I hope it's going down, because that's the one fight scene I'm really so looking forward to.
With the Hound, what they could do is, since Game of Thrones is now ending, we said 2 max seasons. Once that's over, there could even be a spin-off show. So if they go ahead and the Hound joins the Bannerman, and we get to see Lady Stoneheart somehow, they could implement that into a spin-off show and just show the story of Lady Stoneheart as, I guess, a spin-off show that could work.
Yeah, fully. But then again, like, spin-off series-wise, there's a billion things that could work for Game of Thrones. Like, you could do a story on anyone, like Ned Stark in his younger years. You could do a full-on spin-off series on Jaime Lannister over in Lannisport. There's so much. Tywin Lannister with the Reigns of Castamere and all that stuff. There's so many potential for spin-off series there. So I definitely hope, like, I really hope to God, fingers crossed, that they're gonna freaking do it. Like, they're gonna make something. So would the Hound even go to King's Landing? He literally said, fuck the king. Well, he said fuck King Joffrey? For whatever that is worth. I know what you're saying, for whatever that's worth. But that was 100% like aimed towards Joffrey, because that king was a little prick. Now, of course, all his ties with the royal family are just gone. It's broken, and at the moment there is no, like, foreseeable reason for him to go back to King's Landing, unless, for whatever reason, he still wants to join the faith. If he wants to join the faith, then he has a road to walk on to go back to King's Landing. Sadly, HBO said no to any spin-offs. Who knows? Tyrion, who knows, man? Like, after this is all said and done, there's only... If somebody comes up with a fantastic idea for a spin-off series, there's enough material in there, there might still be a yes in play.
No, but if HBO said no, they have the copyrights to Game of Thrones, so I doubt if anyone wants to make a spin-off series, it wouldn't really work. But that's one of the main issues I have with Game of Thrones. It's the books is so detailed, the universe itself is amazing, and you barely touch on anything in the TV show.
Yeah.
And it's gonna be sad once it ends in 2 seasons of what's gonna be left. There's gonna be so many things we didn't see, especially missing big things like Lady Stoneheart. It's gonna be a shame to see. That's all. Like, we're not gonna be able to see that unless obviously someone makes like a fan thing on like YouTube, like a little series or even a spin-off. Um, it's just sad.
It is. Like, the thing that the Game of Thrones is actually touching on is such a small portion of the world of Ice and Fire. There is so much more to this entire thing, like even the history and the lore and all that stuff. There's so much in that entire world that would just be amazing to see and go back to, but like, it's all up to HBO at this point, indeed. Like, if they want to do it, if they're not going to do it, I know it's a very costly thing to do for them, so that's like the main issue we got going on. It's always about money, and Game of Thrones was like the perfect setup to do something in, and everything before that, it might be like potentially way harder. It's all depending on how the series will end up as well, if it's even possible to go back in the past, and whether it would be as interesting to do so. Because if it is going to end up in some sort of like time cycle sort of thing, which is like, it's gearing up for that, to be fair, like this endless time loop sort of thing, then a spin-off series might not hold the same value as watching Game of Thrones over.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's something we have to
I
keep in mind as
also
well.
I also understand why they're trying to finish the TV series up quickly, since obviously it's gonna enter what, by the we're on the current, what season are we on? We're on season 8, right?
Season 6.
Oh my bad, season 6. So it finishes at season 8, supposedly. And that's a lot of seasons for a TV show. And obviously, you don't want to keep something dragging on. You don't want to end on a bad note.
Yeah.
You know, you want to end with your season looking fantastic. But hopefully, the last season won't be like this season. As good as this season was, it was too fast paced. Hopefully, the last season it doesn't slow down too much, but it doesn't feel as rushed. So it ends on a really good note. Everything is clear. Um, all the theories are, broken. Everything's finished. Everything's, perfect.
Yeah, exactly what you're saying there is the great example of one of those seasons that dragged on too long is Californication. That was a comedy series that aired on AMC, I believe. But either way, that started off really strong. It got lots of hype surrounding its like sexual tinted scenes and whatnot. But that series dragged on for I think 6 or 7 seasons, and at the end of it, nobody gave a rat's ass on how it ended. And they don't want that happening for Game of Thrones. Of course, there's lots more hype surrounding this with the books releasing, but at the same time, there is the potential that it might die out at some point. Of course, if you look at this, if you look at the actual numbers, like at the sales and the amount of views that the series actually get, it's still on the rise. But it won't rise forever. There's only so many people in this world that you can get to watch. You need those people with a certain interest, and the fluctuation of that rise, it got stale in the end. Like this season and last season had the same numbers of people watching, so in the end that could only go down. Like, it doesn't go up any further than that.
Definitely.
So yes, let's move on. We're going a little bit off track here. Scene 11. That's the last scene we see. We see in the actress, the lovely actress that was helping out Arya Stark, is being folded around the chair with blood coming
What a
out.
way to go!
That is so sad. So then we have an intense Assassin's Creed chase scene commencing. We see the wave and Arya Stark flying all over sorts of shit.
Yep.
It's beautiful. But in the process, Arya's wound opens up again, and she's in a world of pain as she runs with every step. Then she falls down a couple of stairs. Then she goes into, I think it's her hiding spot. I think she was in that hiding spot before, where she kept Needle. Then we saw this amazing thing where she basically cut the candle, and the total darkness happened, and then in that darkness another character fell off screen. God damn it! No,
Yay, love Game of Thrones.
no amazing fight scene there either. We saw the Wave's head standing on in the hall of the many heads.
The many heads.
And there it ended. Jack and Hagar, she basically told Jack and Hagar, this girl is not just a girl. She is not no one. She is Arya Stark of Winterfell.
I want to quickly touch right there, that specific scene. You actually see him smile at Arya, almost as if he knew all along. Almost as if this is what he was trying to achieve with her, to find her true self, to realize that she can't be, she is Arya Stark. I'm assuming that's what he thought, because he mentions you finished your final task, something He said something along the lines of that. So he already believed in her, which is incredible.
Yeah, yeah. Is indeed that scene, that little smirk, whatever that meant. But I love the fact that it happened because it
Yeah,
looked like he just knew. There was like these faceless men are being portrayed as nobodies, right? But that
yeah.
Jack and the guy, whoever this guy is, was like, yeah. I freaking knew this was gonna happen. I freaking knew. Arya Stark, I love you. I love you. That's
I
basically.
love you.
That's why I saw that. That's why I saw that. Like
Yeah,
that smirk was beautiful, and all debts have been paid to the many-faced god, and Arya Stark is off towards Westeros once again.
which is obviously wrapping things up again since she's gonna be reunited with her sister and her stepbrother. Um, hopefully. Oh, I want to quickly mention the Assassin's Creed chasing. I wasn't really a fan of it. We have. I'm assuming Arya Stark was there for literally a day. Her wounds were being healed for a day, and somehow she managed to jump off like a two-story building, um, roll down a few stairs, and manage to still kill Waif somehow, which I have no idea how she pulled that off. Obviously, she was trained by a fantastic swordsman back in season one, um, and the epic scene when she cuts the candle. But I still don't believe how they gave her that really powerful plot armor and let her survive through all this.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. That's indeed a very strange thing because she was really hurting a lot, and the Wave is a very skilled assassin. So,
Yes.
however, we do know that I actually beat the Wave in one-on-one combat when she was blind.
Yeah.
Now, of course, the Wave was being thrown in the same situation there, in absolute darkness. We don't know how skilled the Wave is actually in a fight in those same circumstances. So, like a badly wounded Arya could potentially beat the Wave. All in all, long story short, I wish we fucking saw that fight.
But obviously the production costs are way too low since funding the Peter Baelish bullet train is way too expensive.
Exactly, and everything, all money goes into obviously episode 9 next week.
Yes.
That's where all the money is going, so we're gonna
Dude,
see some amazing battles there, man.
I would be so pissed off if the next episode they have that amazing battle and then they kill off someone massive and not even show it. I'll be like, oh my god, what are you guys doing?
We see Jon Snow go into a dark room, and he never gets out of the dark room.
The end.
The end.
Like if Ramsay Bolton dies, it should be a good way for him to die, and don't show that. For
I
example,
wanna,
Or
dude.
if
This
the
guy.
fight scene is bad in general, I want to see these soldiers clash fighting, just like a TV show known as Vikings. The fightings are so brutal. You see every single swordsman fighting, clashing. They don't do this. If they're like if they're half asked about this, and if they show small clips of fighting versus dialogue for the entire episode, that'll be a terrible episode. And I have no more faith in Game of Thrones because they just have no idea what they're doing.
I'm not gonna lie. I have full confidence that this next episode is gonna be absolutely amazing. Like this fight, I'm never like. There's always these big moments in every season where the big fight scenes happen, where the big scenes happen, and all those scenes are pretty amazing. And for whatever reason, I do believe like because there is no. Like, believe it or not, there is not an endless pool of money for these things, so they have to like plan that stuff out. And lots of money always go into episode 9 of the season so far. Episode 9 in every season was a huge episode, whether it's the battle at the wall, the freaking the sack on King's Landing in season 2. Only in season 1, I don't believe there was a big thing, but the budget, of course, wasn't that big back in the day. But either way, long story short, I think the next episode is going to be absolutely amazing. That pretty much concludes our preview as well, because that's all we saw in the preview. We saw the battle for Winterfell going down.
I do want to mention, but that's not a way for someone to justify a TV show by saying, guys, we have X amount of money. What we're going to do right here is we're going to put 10% of these episodes and put all the rest on the final episode, so you have one last amazing episode. That's stupid. Why would you have majority of your season bad in the sense of what you're showing off action wise, etc., and then have one season full of good content, that's just a bad idea in my opinion. If obviously you want to have one final big moment, obviously like a cliffhanger or just something good in general, but having the rest of the episodes bad compared to the last one, drastic measure, that's just bad.
Yeah. They could up a bit on the fight scenes, really. Like it's all about war and all about fighting. So I wish there was a little bit more of that instead of all waiting for the final episode and then seeing it all go down.
I mean, people could justify Game of Thrones as a TV show, based on a rich story. Obviously, we're coming from the books, so they want to concentrate more on the lore, the story, the dialogue, rather than fighting scenes. But Game of Thrones is full of wars, it's full of bloodshed. So why would you not take this into consideration and have these epic battles and epic fight scenes? Why would you not show off Blackfish dying? Why would you not show a pretty cool scene with Waif and Aristark fighting? Even if it was like swords clashing in the darkness, if it was at least something for us to see and feed back off of, but there was nothing, it was just bad.
Yeah, fully agree, man. Fully agree. Now we're just gonna wait till the next episode comes out. I think this concludes our live stream, our recap on season 6, episode 8. It was a good episode. Not gonna lie, like it was a beautiful episode, setting up lots of stuff. Also, like devastating things like the deaths that we did not see of major characters dying. Although I loved every scene with the Hound. That was just beautiful.
Yeah,
I loved all the jokes that were cracked in Marine. They were amazing. And yeah, so it was, all in all, it was good.
Yeah, it was a good episode, yeah, definitely.
All right, well, guys, thank you all for watching, and Oobdoop, thank you so much for drawing. This guy, man, this guy makes amazing stuff, dude. Like,
yeah, definitely.
Dude, I wish I could see, like, I want to scroll back and forth, like, I'm trying to click the screen, but it doesn't work, like, it's on, he's live streaming himself, damn that bastard. But, yeah, he makes amazing drawings, and I'd like to thank him again for all the amazing work he's done on the channel as well. This is all, like, beautiful, the beautiful drawings he makes, man, he's freaking amazing.
Me gusta.
Me gusta. Daka, thank you so much for co-hosting once again, you're an amazing guy, and you know your shit on Game of Thrones, which is beautiful.
Thank you, Sonny,
for
allowing me to join you.
Alright, thank you all for watching. Peace.
Thank you guys, bye.